Just how much is MagicBand Plus going to add to your next Disney trip? Let's discuss. Welcome to Princess and Scoundrel, where we take you along our scrappily ever after from Fantasyland to Tatooine and everything in between. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Steven.
And we're talking about MagicBand Plus. We took a trip to Disney World probably a week after MagicBand Plus was released. I had been covering it a lot leading up to it, and so we got to see what it was like in action, and there's a lot of action involved to it.
Yes.
Not necessarily good action, but there's a lot of steps involved.
Well, I think we had some kind of thoughts beforehand.
Right.
And I mean, I guess we could talk about that now. So beforehand, I was thinking that basically MagicBand Plus is going to be the replacement to the MagicBand.
Right. Yeah. I think that's...
I'm putting an L in there somewhere, but...
bland.
Yeah. Because it is kind of bland now.
Oh.
But no, I think that was just kind of my thinking, is this was a way to kind of reinvigorate the MagicBand by adding a little bit of features to it.
It's the next iteration. I think that's what we all thought.
Because even the price point, it was pretty close to the price point of one of the custom, the custom MagicBands.
Right, like the limited edition ones.
Yeah, and if you got it with a resort, is what we did, it was at a discount.
Right. So if you're staying at a Disney resort, you can order them and you get them engraved with your name on them.
Kind of like the old.
Just like the old ones. But you get that as part of either a Disney resort stay, or if you're an annual pass holder, you get like one a year. You have to pay for it, but you get a discount. So it worked out to be not so terrible. I think it was like $10 off of each of ours because we got designs. We didn't get the plain colored ones. But yeah, it knocked a little bit off of it.
But you say it came to be about the same as if we were to just go and get one of the, new limited edition ones or one of the designed ones?
If you do the limited edition ones, those are a little higher priced, but if you're doing just a regular pattern, I think those are around like 25 or 30. I don't remember off the top. It's been a while since I actually bought a MagicBand. But yeah, I would say MagicBands run you anywhere from like $15 to like $40. MagicBand.
The $15 one is just the plain
colored one.
And they have those in MagicBand Plus.
They have those in MagicBand Plus, but then MagicBand Plus starts at I think $35.
Can we just call it the Plus because
the
it's
Plus? The Plus.
There's the old bands and then the
How
Plus.
about the old and the new?
Okay. So V2, V3.
Okay, we've got too many options on the table. Let's just do our best. How's that?
Okay.
Also, I have a rating system. So as we talk about the MagicBand Plus, the V3, the whatever we're going to call this, if it's a good, it's a plus. And if it's a bad, it's a minus.
So the listeners, if you can't see, my eyes are rolling.
No, they weren't.
They rolled a little bit.
Oh, okay. There they did. I saw that one. So no, that's a no-go. Okay.
Let's hear it. Let's see if MagicBand Plus is a plus or a minus.
You know what? We should have practiced saying MagicBand Plus.
It's a mouthful.
It is. It's a lot.
So,
especially when you're having a whole conversation dedicated to it. But yeah, so there's a few ways to get MagicBand Plus. You either can order it as part of your annual pass with a discount. You can order it as part of your Disney resort stay. And depending on how close or far your trip is, they'll mail it to you or they'll have it ready for you at the resort when you arrive. When you check in and the front desk will have it, which is what happened for us because we ordered ours, I think we were 10 days out from our trip. And so they just held them for us at the resort. But I've seen issues with people that ordered them the day that they came out and they went on trips after us and they never shipped. They were supposed to ship and they didn't ship. And so Disney now is refunding the money and then giving them vouchers to use to just go buy them in the parks or go buy them wherever they're sold, because they're not sold everywhere. And
I didn't see that there was a shortage of them.
No. Although some of the bands are selling out.
Certain particular ones.
Certain ones.
But I think that's just with any of the bands. Like if there's a,
the cool ones.
Yeah. Those are going to be harder to find. But I think there was an abundance or enough of the Band Plus if you were wanting it.
Band Plus. I'll go with that. Yeah. So it's there's a little bit of a snafu there. Like if you ordered it the day it came out and you had a trip fairly soon thereafter, it seems like there was a little bit of a logistics issue, but they are taking care of it and they're trying to make up for it. So just keep that in mind. But one of the things that we faced, our bands were ready when we picked them, when we arrived at our resort, had our names engraved and everything, but you have to sync them. You have to pair them to your account, if you will.
Yes. And
we'll get into kind of like the accounts and all of that stuff later, but there was one issue with yours in particular.
Well, so that's the part of the accounts that we kind of have to talk to.
Do you want to talk about it now?
Because the watch gets connected to your Disney your Disney experience, right?
Yes.
But it also, to play anything, you have to have your Disney Play app.
The Play Disney.
Yeah. So you have to have the two apps on your phone updated to make sure that your Band Plus can work with it.
And even further than that, if you are wanting to do, say, the Batuu Bounty Hunt, and you want to go do your own bounty hunt, and I want to do my own bounty hunt, we each need our own accounts. Because typically, if you're going and you don't go that often, maybe just the person that booked the reservation has a My Disney Experience account, and then the rest of the family members are managed guests under that main account.
The mom.
Yeah, we'll call it the mom, the me in this case. You used to be a managed guest under my account, and then when the data pad came out, you're like, goodbye, and you created your own My Disney Experience account, and we just linked to each other. So you were no longer a managed guest on my account. When you're doing Star Cruiser or the data pad or now the MagicBand Plus things.
Because it wasn't necessary. I think the data pad, you needed to have your own.
So that you could have your own account profile type thing. But with Star Cruiser, you have to have your own accounts. If you're over 13, you have to have your own My Disney Experience account. If you're a child, you can be a managed guest, but you can still have your own Play Disney Parks account. Like, there's more into it. But for us, you used to be a managed guest on my account, and then you got your own account. Well, when we showed up to the resort and we went to pair our MagicBand Pluses to our profiles, for whatever reason, when they made the resort reservation, they didn't link. They still used your managed profile instead of your account. And so you had like the ghost profile floating out there that this new MagicBand Plus was linked to. Yeah. And so when we're pulling up the phone, I was like, oh, look how easy. Just pair your MagicBand. And it pulled up my version of my MagicBand.
And I couldn't, and that's the other thing is I couldn't connect to it. Like through my account, I couldn't, add it because it said it was registered to somebody else.
It was claimed by somebody else.
So I'm guessing you have to unclaim it if you're going to give somebody your band.
But you can't. That's the thing now is you can't transfer MagicBands.
So
what we had to do, and I instantly knew what the issue was because I work with the managed guest issue like all the time. So I knew what the issue was. So I went to the front desk and I said, hey, here's what happened. You have your own account, but you were assigned the resort under a managed guest because we had issues that morning booking Cosmic Rewind because of that, because you weren't technically on the reservation. But went to the front desk, told them, took like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. They had to make a few phone calls to fix it. So that can be avoided if you make sure that the right profiles are there on your reservation. But
I don't know if it could be avoided because I think we're gonna run into it again because you could see on my account the list of bands that I've had.
Yeah, you've accumulated a lot.
But you can't see all of them. And I bet it's because they're connected to the managed account.
Which could also be why you've had issues before with like purchasing things.
Exactly.
But the thing is like, we go to Disney fairly often. I know my Disney stuff. You know your Disney stuff. And we still encounter these issues. Mm-hmm. So if we're encountering it, we're fortunate enough that we understand what the issue is. And so we can go communicate that. But people that don't go that often or have never gone before, they're just like, why is this not working? And that's frustrating.
Well, yeah, it's frustrating on that part. And then when you add on a new technology, there's that kind of quick reaction to say, oh, it's this. And I don't think it's necessarily the Band Plus issue. It's a underlying issue of, hey, you should be able to take off bands and add bands or somehow reuse them with ease or more ease than it currently they currently have it. But
yeah, it's a minus.
Yeah. Well, but again, that's not the Band Plus. That's more of just the system.
It's just the technology.
The experience system. But you do need that app to be able to update the Band Plus.
Yeah.
And that was what we ran into immediately. You have to have 60% battery on it to update. Yeah. And it doesn't come charged. And we were seeing videos of it, like, day one, that some people had it charged, some people didn't. Mm-hmm. But we didn't run into it not being able to function. Because I think the only thing we did that first day was the Fab 50
The
stuff.
Fab 50 quest, yeah.
And it didn't stop that from working.
No.
But we did have to have the Experience app and the Play app updated.
Yeah.
So, like, those had to be updated, but
our Band Pluses were not updated. And so I don't know what we missed out, but I didn't feel like we missed out on anything.
So I think what that update added was a feature of it being more sensitive for motion. Because you could afterwards you could go in there and turn on basically make it more sensitive.
Oh, okay.
Turn on that. I think it was a Bluetooth connectivity thing. There was like 3 or 4 settings. That it doesn't change it dramatically. I think the haptic is a little bit stronger and something else. But there's just like 4 settings that you could turn off and on.
Yeah.
But there's no like dial or anything.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that first day you couldn't do that. And some of them were really low that we had to use like a fuel rod to charge it. To make sure we could use it.
Yeah. And you can't, maybe you could. I don't see how you could do it with a charger. You can't wear the band while you're charging it. So one thing I will say is if the battery on the MagicBand Plus completely dies out and you don't get any of the haptic feedback or the lights or anything, it will still work as a regular Magic Band, and that you can use it to scan into the park. You can use it to make purchases. So all of that stays the same. It's just the pluses of the MagicBand Plus that don't work without the battery.
Yeah.
So you don't have to bring an old Magic Band and the new MagicBand Plus, but you do have to bring the charger.
Yes, I would recommend that if you're planning on using it throughout the. Well, I don't know if you. And this may be when we're talking about the bounty hunt game, but when we were doing the Fab 50 stuff, it didn't really require us to after day one. I didn't feel I had to charge it until I got back to the hotel.
Yeah. So before we get into like actually using it, one thing that I had seen questions, I'd gotten a lot of questions about beforehand, but had no idea until right before we recorded this because we got out some tools, is can you take out the puck? So if you're watching the YouTube video, we have the Halcyon Magic Band, but on the Magic Band, this is Magic Band 2, which is where the puck in the middle could be removed, and you could put it, like for our son when he was really little, we put it on like a little keychain because he just couldn't keep it on. You can put it on a necklace. A lot of people will put it on their watch so they don't have to wear
2 bands.
And so that was a big question was...
And the size of it is pretty close to one of the AirTags.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little coin. It's a little bit thicker.
Yeah. on the old band.
On the old band.
So it takes some screws to get it out, but you can do it.
Yeah.
So the question was, can you, on these new MagicBand Plus, can you take this out? Because it's got more technology. It's got a battery. It's got lights. It's got vibration. And like, if you do take it out, like, is it even going to be plus, right? Yeah. Turns out.
It is the same.
It's the same. You can take it out.
Thicker puck.
Yeah. So it's what, probably
2 times the size.
You think it's 2 times?
Yeah.
It's definitely 2 times thicker than the old puck.
So if you are watching, you will see, and we'll probably have some close-ups pictures.
Yeah, we'll do some close-ups.
But yeah, it's the same little puck. They have the charging port. We would actually, I don't think it would be easy to charge because the way the charging it clips onto the entire band.
Oh yeah.
So you might have to like figure out some way to, charge just the puck.
Yeah.
But I mean, you
can do it.
You could stick that into.
They made it so it comes out. I think it would be a little distracting because it does have haptic feedback where it vibrates and does the lights. I think if you were to put it on like an Apple Watch band, it would be even more discombobulating because
you don't know if you get a text message.
Right? I encountered that at one point and I was just like, ugh. We'll get into that later. But yeah, so there's a few things that MagicBand pluses to your vacation, which is it's supposed to do, depending on the band that you get, it will do like certain lighting schemes, I think. And maybe it gives you like a fun little, I don't know if it gives you like a fun little chime when you scan into the park.
Yes, it does.
Mine was always, it wouldn't light up green. Mine would light up like yellow or gold.
Yeah, I think we had this more simpler ones where it would just kind of acknowledge that
we're plus.
Yeah, but it wouldn't. I know there's other ones that actually have like a little chime,
like more fun stuff. Oh, we're basic. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we didn't get the special ones.
But yeah, it'll do that, and then it will interact with the fireworks, which we did not stick around and do that.
No.
We were crowd averse this time. Did not sit in the crowds to watch the fireworks. But even then, I don't know how thrilling it will be to have something on your wrist just like vibrating the whole time and lighting up because you're not paying attention to that. I mean, it's probably kind of cool to feel the fireworks. Yeah. But.
So there's that and then the Fab 50 hunt.
Yes.
And the new Bounty Hunters.
Right.
Currently, that's these are the main features of Disney Plus. And we were able to, like you said, we didn't do the fireworks.
No.
And that we could kind of talk about that in a little bit. But we did the Fab 50 and the Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
Fab 50 was very interesting to me because it reminded me of just like the Remy's scavenger hunt or like any of the scavenger, because that's our first experience was at Epcot.
Yep.
And that's the first thing it reminded me of was just kind of a scavenger hunt. So you go find the statues and you wave at them.
I thought it was nice to put purpose behind seeing each of the statues because there's not 50 statues throughout the park. There are 50 characters as part of statues, but sometimes they like double them up and they a lot of times put 2 statues right next to each other, which was nice. But it gave us a purpose to go seek out all of those statues because before I thought, and Magic Kingdom has the most of them, so I thought they were spread out everywhere, and I was like, oh, this is going to be, we got to go walk the World Showcase just to find one of these statues.
Yeah.
All the Epcot ones are like within a 3-minute walk of each other.
Yeah.
Like they're really close. So it was a fun thing to do, but it wasn't, you didn't have to go too far out of your way to do it.
Yeah.
Which felt good.
Yeah. So, and then the initial kind of information we were getting from it was the waving aimlessly at the statues. And I'm always thinking of the technology? Like how is it communicating with, because the normal RFIDs that were in the old ones, it's basically just putting out a number, or, putting out information. It's not reading information, So it's the devices.
I don't know, but yes, I trust you.
No, the puck is putting out like a number, transmitting out,
okay.
but not receiving.
Okay.
And so it's all Disney's things that are reading that number and saying,
gotcha.
okay, that's,
so like you're tapping
Steven.
into a turnstile,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
Steven.
turnstile is saying
That's Steven.
That's Steven. Okay.
Whereas this one is now saying it's
like I'm coming to you and waving at you, little Olaf statue.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, oh, that's Sarah.
Yeah. And like, hey, I'm moving my hand. I'm gesturing. So do something. So it's doing
dance for me.
Yeah, dance for me. Sing me a song. But they did have it where there's a little bit of feedback as well. So you were close enough to it, it would vibrate. It would give you haptic, feedback. Yeah. And then you're supposed to basically acknowledge it by waving.
Right.
I felt it worked fairly well. It wasn't as quick as you would, hey, I see it, I'm close to it, it should be vibrating, and let me wave, and now it's going to turn on the music.
Yeah.
There was
some delays.
Yeah, there was just that.
And inconsistencies.
Exactly.
But it worked better than I anticipated it to, because like you said, the early reports, like on day one, people are like waving, like flailing around, and it wasn't picking up. And for us, it felt like, no, like if it vibrated on your wrist and you just waved, it, for the most part, did. I would say like, what, 70%?
Yeah.
60% success rate?
The times that I think it wouldn't work is it where if it vibrated, like it was vibrating too far away, and I didn't wave, and I got close to it.
And then you waved?
And then I waved, it wouldn't acknowledge me. So I would have to like walk away and then basically come back to it. So basically when it vibrates, acknowledge it, right? That's
immediately.
Acknowledge it.
Yeah, I had that happen a couple times too, and maybe it's also that there's just too many people interacting with it at one time, that it's just like, I don't know who's talking to me, but I'm just going to throw something out there, and whoever catches it, catches it. Because I don't remember, I had to walk away from, I think, like Dory in Animal Kingdom. You're like, just go walk over there and come back. I was like, oh, okay. But here was the one thing with the Fab 50 quest that I think is something good to know before you try to go do it, is if you are trying to do the actual Fab 50 quest, you're not just trying to get acknowledgement from the statues and you want it to count as part of your game and check it off in your Play Disney app. You have to open the app first, and you have to go through. It walks you through, here's how you do it, and it has a few directions, and then Tinkerbell comes out and like gives you some pixie dust to help you be a little more magical and interacting with these typically inanimate objects, right? And she helps you help them come to life. If you don't do that and go activate the quest in your Play Disney app, which is why it's important to have your own account, blah, 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 you're just waving for no reason. Like, they interact with you, but it didn't count.
Well, and this is the other part of it, is you don't need the app. After you've initiated it, you don't need the app for it to pick up the sounds, to do everything, and to actually collect them. But you do have to go back in there to basically
say, yep, that's the one.
Well, no, to just check.
To check that you got it.
Because at Magic Kingdom, there was a point where we were just kind of getting, going, making the rounds, and we got a whole bunch of them, but I had to go back into the app.
We missed a couple. We had
make
to go
sure
back.
I got all of them. If not, I was like, okay, let me go back and go get this one particular one.
Oh, the other thing to note is that every device that's trying to collect it as part of the Fab 50 has to be on Wi-Fi or data of some sort.
Yeah.
Because at one point, we gave our son like one of our old phones to basically use as like an iPad while we were there, an iPod, I guess. And he was connected to your personal hotspot on your phone. I had his phone and my phone, and I gave you this is going to be so confusing. I gave you my MagicBand because me and our daughter were going to go ride a ride. And you were like, there's 2 left. And so you took my MagicBand, but you had to have me check to make sure that it registered. And there was an issue because it was showing up on mine, but it wasn't showing up on our son's phone because he was no longer connected to your hotspot because there was distance. So I had to connect him to mine, and it worked out. But if you're trying to do that game, you've got to reference it every once in a while, but you don't have to walk around with your phone, which was really nice.
And they basically, when you collect it, you get like the statue on the app, and then it goes into like an AR mode where if you wanted to take picture or you wanted to see it come out of a door type of thing.
I never did that.
There's like fun little things, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was cool, but at the same time, it didn't fully let you pull away from the app.
But yeah, it was frustrating because like not frustrating. I'll give this a medium and a plus minus scale. It's a 0. When we got to Epcot, that was the first park we went to. You and our son went and rode Cosmic Rewind, and I was walking around with our daughter, and I was like, well, maybe just go find the statues. And I found them, and we both had the bands, and so we were out there waving, and it was interacting. I was like, so cool, and I waved at all of them. And then I get on my phone, and it was like, nope, it didn't count. I was like, ah. So
it didn't count for your...
It didn't count for my quest.
Yeah.
So then I had to go back and wave at all of them again.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Like literally at Epcot, they're all right there. So it was really easy to do. But yeah, it was a little bit of like a...
And that's the interesting thing
They don't tell you you have to do that first.
Yeah. But the sounds, you'll still get it even if you're not updated or connected to your app. Yeah. So if you just wanted to go and do the sounds, like that's all you don't need
You're
much.
Good.
Yeah.
So like for our daughter, it was great because she could just go and like
feel the
wave
vibration
at them, and she was like, okay, that's cool. And she didn't know that she was missing out. The other cool thing about the Fab 50 quest is when you get it, there's a screen for each park, and it tells you how many statues, and if you click on it, it gives you an icon that kind of tells you what movie it's from. So you can kind of guess, like if it's I don't remember what they were, but like maybe a seashell for The Little Mermaid. It doesn't mean it's The Little Mermaid, but it's somebody from that movie. And you click on it, and it'll flip over, and it shows you a map of where it is in the park. And it's a general idea, but it helps.
It's very infographic, so it's like you have to, okay, it's around this area.
Yeah, it's not a map where you can be like, okay, take me here, and it shows you exactly how to get there. But it helps guide you. It's like a little treasure map kind of thing. But I thought that was neat. And then once you collect it, the little seashell turns into, who was it? I think it was like Flounder and Sebastian or something, for Little Mermaid, something like that. But then it changes, and that's when you unlock the AR and the other things. But I really enjoyed the Fab 50 quest.
I liked it because it was it felt like a bigger Remy's.
Yeah.
Because it was...
And we call it Remy's, but there's also like the Figment one for the Festival of the Arts and the Easter egg hunt. Yeah. There's some other ones, but we call it Remy's because Remy's now takes up like half of the year at Epcot.
Yeah. But that's what it felt like. It was, if it's going to be in a certain country, you're going to look in kind of certain spots and find them. Oh, okay, they put him in a new one, or they changed the food that he had in that country. But it was a difficult enough where you're looking for these characters, but not so difficult where you're just scratching your head. Yeah. Except for Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell's pretty hard to find.
Yeah. So
no spoilers, but good luck.
That's the hardest. That was the hardest one for us.
I never found that one.
Yeah.
I was just like, take my band. I'm going on teacups. But we had so much fun with it at Epcot, and we'll get into more about the trip later, but we really did take a slower pace with this trip, and we were like, you know what? Let's just knock out the Fab 50.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our goal for the trip, was let's visit each of the 4 parks and let's go find all the statues, because it's something fun that you can do whether you have the app and have the account. All 4 of us had the MagicBand Plus, and so we were able to go participate and do it together and search around and hunt. But it was an all ages activity, which was nice.
Yeah, I feel like this trip was kind of we took a note from our last cast talking about how there's more to things to do other than rides, because we did Cosmic Rewind and we did a lot of the smaller rides for our daughter.
Yeah.
But other than that, we did more of these games.
Yeah.
The Fab 50, the Bounty Hunters. We did some dinners.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely took a different route other than riding rides.
Yeah, we did. But we did the Fab 50. The first day was at Epcot. And then our next day, we knocked out all 50. I don't remember.
For the entire trip.
For the entire trip. Over the course of the trip, we did all of them. But then the next day, we went to Batuu.
Yep.
And so we got to try out the Batuu Bounty Hunters Guild. Don't want to confuse it with Dano's Batuu Bounty Hunt that he does. They're very, very different and very separate. But we did that one. I say we. You guys did that one that morning.
Yeah, we did.
Or that day.
Yeah, we did most of that one. So you go to a station to basically start your bounty hunts, and you pick up your first bounty hunt. It goes through the entire, and kind of on the Fab 50 as well. This is one of the concerns I had about starting it, or in general, was I've been to Universal, or we've been to Universal.
Yeah, I was there.
And the Harry Potter ones, each of the stations ends up being a line.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to do it. Fab 50, it was kind of similar. When at times there was groups of people, everybody waving. So you didn't know if...
Either waving or people wanting to take pictures with the statues, which is what slowed people down, I think, the most.
So there was congestion around it. So you didn't know if it was yours, and that's where I think maybe you had to check to see if it checked it off your list.
Right.
Because it made a sound, but I don't know if it was my sound or if it was the person next to me.
Yeah.
And I think they had a couple different sounds, like quotes some of the characters would have.
I think they did, yeah.
So it wasn't like always the exact same thing.
Right.
But Bounty Hunt, you have to go to one station to start it. There would be a line there.
It was one station to start, but it was the same station each time you picked up a new bounty.
Yes.
And when you started your first bounty, it goes through probably a 30, 45 second spiel of here's how you do it. And you can walk through that. But there was a long line because of how long that took. It may have been longer than 45 seconds.
It would take a minute. And then people going to get a new bounty, they were in that line. And then just next to it is your cash-in line.
Is that a guild master?
Is he the guild master?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what.
I think it's just the collector.
I wasn't paying attention. The collector. That's the wrong IP.
But so there was just kind of more people around, and I could see why they put it where they did.
Yeah, it's like a dead spot.
Yeah,
so now it's used.
Yeah. But there's now kind of two lines of people getting bounties, turning in bounties.
Yeah. But when you first scan your band in, it will say, it basically walks you through how to play the game for the very first time. And it'll say if you're nowhere, it's basically like getting warmer, colder. So it's if you're nowhere near it, it's going to do long vibrations and it's going to blink red. If you're getting closer and you're on the right track, it'll be slightly shorter, medium vibrations, and it's green. And then if you're there and you got it, it's really quick pulsing vibrations and it's purple.
No, purple is when you found it.
When you found it. Sorry, when you got it. Yeah. You tap to the wherever it was.
But the green, it'll go through a progression of
bing,
kind of like a heartbeat,
bing,
slower.
Bing, bing. Yeah.
And it reminded me of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
When you're from that, my first, immediately what I started doing was I would walk away from where you collect it and walk either to the Droid Depot or to
the marketplace.
Yeah. Because
that's where most of the
you're splitting
panels
in half.
are, yeah.
If it turned red, I'd go to the other side. And then you would start basically walking the entire building.
So there's just going to be a bunch of zombies walk and then stop and then turn around and walk the other way.
And that's what if you would see people, you would notice who was doing a bounty hunt because they would all walk one way and they almost dead stop, turn back the other way because they were going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But we started doing those, and then it started raining.
We didn't even start doing it. We all scanned our bands.
I think we did one, or our son and I did one.
Maybe. Oh, I don't remember. Y'all did one. What was I doing? I don't know. I was somewhere. Maybe y'all did one, and then I went to go do it with you, and we met up there, and that's when it started raining, and so we took refuge at Ronto Roasters. Ronto's Roasters? Where they roast the Rontos.
Yeah.
We've learned it's Ronto meat. And it started pouring on Batuu, and so we had collected bounties. Neither of us were in the right place, and so it was like long vibrations, and our magic band was pulsing red or glowing red. I think there's probably like a 30-minute timer that if you don't go get your bounty in those 30 minutes, it just like resets you, or it just like, ends that bounty for you. It rained for 30 minutes. And so we're just standing there,
and it's just
it was like, okay, this is getting real old. Because if you don't know what it is and you see this line of people and you're like, I want to scan my band, and you go scan it.
Now you could go end it. Like, if
you?
Yeah. Like if you would, during that time, would go over there, because I found out later.
Collector.
Basically somebody, they scanned it, and it was unintentionally. They scanned it, got a bounty, walked away, and then came back and scanned it again and says, do you want to cancel?
Oh,
so you could cancel it. Or I guess maybe if you give up, you could take it off. But again, we were under the...
I think it would be nice if they had the ability to end your current bounty on the app, though.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, okay, I'm going to start this one, and you start walking towards, say, Droid Depot, and it's wrong, and you were like, well, we're heading towards Droid Depot because we got to catch like a slinky dog or something. That thing's going to be vibrating for 30 minutes. I don't know if there's maybe like a proximity timer where it's like, okay, you've left Galaxy's Edge. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
We didn't test that.
No.
But yeah, that was unintentionally, we did some deep research and stood there for 30 minutes with it just vibrating, and we could go out in the rain, but we didn't. We were chickens. So that was not great in my opinion. And we didn't, to be fair, we didn't open the app to see if you could, but maybe I did. When I opened the app before I had gotten my first bounty hunt, it just kept taking me through the instructions of how to do a bounty hunt because I hadn't completed my first one. So maybe after you've completed your first one, it'll let you go cancel. I didn't think to check that.
See, I like this. So that kind of goes into, I like the bounty hunt better than the Fab 50 because you collect, your bounty tells you wherever, and then you kind of go. You can start walking. You can tell by the color of the lights if you're right or wrong.
Kind of.
During the day, you cannot see.
Yeah.
So you're like hiding.
You look like under your
arm.
A rebel spy.
Yeah.
You're like,
Is it red or is it green? And again, you could kind of feel the pulse, but there's a bit of a delay. So if you're walking around, walk at a walking pace, not as at a trot, where most people were more
trotting.
Yeah, more people were excited. They were kind of moving around trying to get it done. And so if you're just going by the feel of it, you have to slow down.
That's fair.
Some people I saw, they were just like going to every door that they knew. So that was a tactic.
That's kind of a...
Yeah. And then I saw other people doing the more slowed down version where they were using the app.
So how did you use the app at all to locate where?
I used it once.
Okay.
And you don't really use it to locate.
It's just once you're there, you can
you can.
Right? Okay.
So you go to the certain doors that are designated as the bounty hunt doors or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could open the app and basically face like AR the door, and it would, if it's the correct one, it'll show a thermal silhouette of.
If you weren't at the right door, would it show you, like if you're at the wrong door, will it show you the wrong bounty, Or does it just say like, no, there's nobody there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I only did one bounty the entire time, and it was on our Batuu excursion for Star Cruiser. Because I was like, I got to do one. The day that y'all knocked a bunch of them out. I didn't even get to do any of them. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
What was I doing? I don't know what I was doing. I was just living my life, drinking black calves and hanging out. But I did make sure to open the app, and I used my little thermal AR, and it showed me that it was the right guy. And I was like, okay, cool. I did know what I was doing, and I went and collected it, and that was that. But I didn't open my app after that. You don't really need to for that one, which was nice.
Yeah. No, and that's what I liked about it is I was able to, get it. It kind of tells me the direction. And as you got closer, it would pulse faster.
Yeah.
You collect it. You would see it was purple. Okay, I got it. Let me go back and cash it in.
It also felt like I think the phone is a good way to validate that you got the right bounty before you go back and cash it in. But because you're literally almost cashing it in, you're crediting it in, right? They give you credits for it. But it felt like an intermediate version of the Fab 50, whereas the Fab 50, that's a hard one to say too, felt like a very family-friendly one. The Batuu Bounty Hunt it was...
See, but you didn't need the app. Like, once it got purple... You didn't
need the app.
Once it got purple, you could go back. And then, again, I collected... I was probably at number 8 or 9, because there's a total of 20.
You did that many?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you did that. I thought y'all did like 4 or 5.
The first day we did 4 or 5.
Oh,
or 4.
Okay.
And then on
How
Batuu...
did you have time to do that when we were on Batuu?
When we were in the line, rider swap. Because I
did one. What was I doing?
But that was the thing is like, I would go get it, and then just
go
playing Pokemon Go. You divide the park, that area by 2 immediately.
You know why you did so much and I didn't? It was so hot. I was like, I just want some shade.
It could
I need to preserve my energy.
And they could have been just more easier, like in the spots to go to and go back and forth,
But even with not needing the phone,
I think I could have probably done more if I didn't have a stroller.
Oh, for sure.
Because I had to go the long way around.
You have to go the ramps. Like, Batuu is accessible, but it's not incredibly accessible. Yeah. Like, there's one way to get to the marketplace, and that's by Ronto Roasters. And it's kind of like, ugh.
No, I had to go around, or I went to the very end.
Or you went all the way. Oh, yeah, you can go to the very end. But, like, for our daughter, so when she and I went and did our one bounty, we both started it, and I'm pretty sure we both had the same. It was on the same.
It's not the same door.
It was though, because hers was going purple.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and so I made sure to scan it, and so when I turned mine in, we turned hers in too, and it wouldn't even register. And I don't know if it's because she's got like a little chubby hand, but I like lifted her up and put her in there. It didn't work. I like tried putting it on my hand and I put it in there, and it didn't work.
I don't think they're the same. They're the same spots. Like
maybe not.
The bounty is not like they're the same bounties. Like I saw like a couple of the same bounties, but
20.
They weren't at the same doors.
Yeah, so maybe she was like right next. Maybe she was right across the way. But the other thing is in Batuu, they kind of make it a little easy for you in that it has that Batuu logo kind of spray painted on the doors. And there are even doors that you wouldn't necessarily think are, like one of them was like a fire door or something.
It definitely,
like it was like a hidden door, and we were like, oh.
I did look at, there was that one that's like way behind, like across from Oga's. But it's like way in there.
Yeah.
I'd never been back there.
Yeah.
And that was one of the doors.
And that was one of them.
So.
Which was neat. So it felt more like you're exploring. If that felt actually a little more like Remy's, and that you're actually having to go explore and like find different things, where it wasn't as evident where the payoff is, if you will, versus like the Fab 50 statues, right?
Yeah.
It was fun. I think the downfalls of it is that there's one place to start and pick up bounties, and there's one place to collect on your bounties. I think they really need to have at least one or two more on Batuu to help disperse, especially when it does come to Disneyland, because Disneyland is such a tourist location. But at the same time, if there's only 20 bounties right now.
So yeah, we saw another guest. She got her 20th one.
Yeah.
She's like, I just finished or whatever. And she was saying it took her about 2 or 3 hours, and she had to do a recharge in between.
And it was nonstop.
And she said she was doing it nonstop.
Yeah.
So
she was like, I ran. It was such great exercise.
So we can't confirm that. I can't confirm that. I did not have to charge from all the different days.
We charged each night. Yeah.
But other than that, we didn't.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't charge any of them.
But I will say before we move on, that is one of the big minuses, if you will, for me, is it's yet another thing to charge.
Yeah.
And the Disney resorts they weren't built to have to charge our phones and our watches and our Magic Bands and our portable batteries now. And if you're bringing a laptop or you're bringing a camera or you're bringing iPads and all of these other things, they weren't meant to charge. I mean, think about it. Like each one of us probably has 3 to 4 things that we need to charge every night. And so it was a lot.
Yeah.
And it was just cumbersome. It was like, okay, before we go to bed, make sure we charge this and this and this and this. It was just.
Yeah. It's already gotten us to, first we converted to getting one of those like 4-in-1 charging for our phones.
Yeah.
Phone, AirPods, watch.
And it's like the Apple Pencil or something.
So it's like a 4-in-1, but now we even need more ports for a USB like charging station, and it's a bit annoying. That I could say is, and then you have.
Would you say it's a minus?
I would say it's a minus. Just adding more devices
clutter
too, because they put them next to the beds, but you have on the, each end of the bed, in the middle of the bed, there's plugs like all over the room.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't plug one of them in and you're like, oh my gosh, we need this one plug.
Fans, because it was so hot. We had fans that we were charging too. We had so many things to charge.
But it was one of those things like you have to charge all these things. And this trip we actually got smart and got the fuel rods, and we used that a couple times. So that was kind of nice.
And we can link to some of the things that we did to kind of like make our charging more efficient, like our 4-in-1 and our fuel rods and those things that they do help.
Yeah.
Because you need it. You can't have one plug per device or you're out of luck if you're more than like 2 people in a room. But moving on, we did the Fab 50, knocked all 50 out. The bounty hunt, it's limited to 20 bounties, right? At the moment. I'm sure they'll increase that at some point. And then the fireworks, you can do that every night if you wanted to, but it's going to be the same thing every night because it's the same fireworks every night.
So on that, we didn't stay for fireworks for either Harmonious or at Magic Kingdom because we were staying at a resort that we were able to see the fireworks.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that later, but that's why we didn't.
That's future episode stuff.
But we didn't use it in that way. But at the same time, from other reports that we saw, I personally don't think that would add. It wouldn't add to it.
No.
Because I'm trying to look up at the fireworks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be looking at my wrist to see it.
And it is confusing if you have a watch that you wear that vibrates. Because like when we were on our Batuu excursion, I had my Halcyon band on, and then I was going to do one of the bounty hunts. And so I put my MagicBand Plus on the same hand. I didn't want it to get confused with like the MagicBand technology because I was like, I don't know how technology works. Do I need to have my arms out by my side the whole time? So I put it on the arm with my Apple Watch. And then I'm walking around and it's vibrating, and I kept being like, oh.
Thinking it's text messages.
And it's not, but I'm too dumb to realize like the 2-inch difference on my arm and what's what. Like in my brain, it just registered like a vibration. Look at your, I've been trained very well. So I think if you have that for the fireworks, like.
Yeah. So again, we didn't experience it, but you would feel the vibrations, and you're there. So you kind of already feel the vibrations of the fireworks. And then as far as lighting up, it reminds me of when they did the ears, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I think with the ears, they're just wearing it. And
it's visible to all, yeah.
Visible to all. So if maybe it was like have your hands up and you're dancing with it, you could see kind of the lighters.
Could you imagine?
But again, that's if that's going on.
If that's going on. But
other than that, it's just going to be a bunch of lights at everybody's waist, like, bing, bing. Lighting up. Which
is frustrating. You don't want it to be bright around you when you're watching fireworks. But what does the longevity of MagicBand Plus look like? We've done Fab 50. We don't need to do that next time. I'm sure the kids will want to go wave at the statues, and that's fine. But we're not going to be trying to collect them. And we don't have the mission that we had. And with the bounty hunt, you've already done half of them.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize you'd done that many. But once you've collected all of those, then what? What do you do? What do you do in a park like Animal Kingdom that doesn't have any nighttime entertainment? And once the Fab 50 statues go away after the celebration is over, literally there's no interaction with the MagicBand Plus at that park. So you're charging this thing every night for nothing. And there has to be more. Each of the parks does some sort of a scavenger hunt or little game where you're running around the park and you're interacting with the park in ways that's different from like a ride or a parade or a show or something like that. But what else can they do with MagicBand Plus for the long run if this is a true replacement for MagicBand?
So the proximity to the fireworks, I don't know how close you have to be for it to actually register the fireworks and the whole that whole sequence.
Right.
For the Fab 50, let's say it's 10 feet from the statue.
Yeah.
You feel a vibration, and then you could respond to it. We've talked about this. That mechanic would work fantastic with the Force.
Yes.
If you were walking by something, you would get a vibration notifying, telling you that, hey, there's something here. Giving a hand motion that you're using the Force and something happens.
Kind of like using the wands at Universal. Because that happened at one point. There was a statue that was hidden, a Fab 50 statue that was hidden in Magic Kingdom. I was going to get snacks.
No, it was Tinkerbell.
No, that one wasn't Tinkerbell. It was the Orange Bird. I was going to get my Dole Whip, and I walked by, and my wrist vibrates, and I was like, oh. And so I just waved at where I thought it was going to be. I was like, I don't see a statue, but I'm on a mission. I need my Dole Whip. And I waved, and sure enough, it was a statue, but I just didn't know. So it could indicate to you oh, hey, there's
something nearby.
Force, or maybe there's a character meet and greet, or a parade is starting soon.
Yeah, because the Tinkerbell one, we felt it. We felt it vibrate. We're like, oh, there's one near us. But we thought it was we thought it was one of the other, like Chip and Dale, because it's near over there. So I'm giving that away for you. But it was...
I literally don't know where it is.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me later.
Yeah. But that's what it was. We were close to it, but we didn't know. We thought it was just like a phantom vibration.
So it'll pick it up from about 10 feet away, but you have to be closer to it to actually...
I don't know.
Collect it? Oh.
So, again, I don't know exactly how that mechanic works.
Yeah.
But
you pull out the patent.
Let's go check them out.
Throwback.
But no, I think that mechanic in general would be fit perfect for the Force.
It would be so great for the Force. Yeah. And further, on the Halcyon, on Star Cruiser, there are so many incredible ways that I think that they could use it. Going into, punching it, putting it in hyperdrive. Everybody feels like,
yeah.
Or
and everybody
feels it.
Yeah.
Or lightsaber training. When you're doing lightsaber training, I think you've got those beams and you can feel it in the saber. It'd be cool to feel it
before
too.
Yeah.
Or feel it as you're seeing it, you feel it in your wrist.
Yeah.
Or if it's just like, hey man, time to be in the atrium. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah. But then there's the mechanic of the bounty hunt. So the bounty hunt is like, it starts you to something and then leads you down, like uses, I'm guessing it's some kind of GPS, some kind of Bluetooth GPS to it to tell you if you're right or wrong.
Something, right?
But I think that could be utilized World Showcase, Animal Kingdom, just more it's a smaller map type of thing, but
yeah. How great would it be if you were like, I want to go ride Frozen Ever After. I don't know where I'm going. And like when you put on My Disney Experience, you're like, take me there. Like, because you can put like literally show me how to walk to this place. It would be great if it would do like a hotter, colder type thing. Because like Epcot, I will forever be lost in that part. World Showcase, I can get around. It's a circle. But like the front part,
I think Epcot, it's just because it's.
She's going through puberty.
There's a lot of construction. There's been a lot of construction for a while. So,
but I think that would be nice too, like a hotter, colder.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's like location services.
It kind of but imagine you getting distracted, stopping at Mexico to get a margarita, and then
that's like my GPS in my car. That's like
whole time.
Make a U-turn, make a U-turn. I'm like, hold on, I need mozzarella sticks from Sonic.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's where it would, it'd be nice, but then
if you had the ability to turn it off, right? But then the other thing that we've talked about.
Now, it'd be nice, like if you could, give it a little tap to stop.
It'd be nice if there were buttons on it.
I mean, that's when you start getting into like.
But then you could hit it against something. I know.
Well, just like you make it more difficult.
Yeah.
Instead of simplify.
But one of the things that we've talked about in terms of longevity for it is doing something like Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, bringing that game back. It was a card-based game, but you would have to tap your Magic Band to a turnstile to activate it, and then you use these cards. It would be the perfect integration to have something like that at Magic Kingdom, and they had it across multiple lands. So it would probably be more like a Batuu Bounty Hunt where it would take you a few hours to do it, but it would also just give you more things to do.
Now, I think Sorcerer is going to probably fit more with what the game from the Wish, from the...
Oh. But I think you could utilize MagicBand Plus for it too.
That game looks like it's more... It's going to be... You're probably going to be using your phone, but they have... basically mini games.
Yeah.
And not the same, here's one card. It's kind of like the puzzles on your data pad.
Yeah.
Where it's like some of them are puzzles, some of them tuning, little what's the other one? The wires, connecting them type of thing. So I think the Sorcerers would go better with that type of game.
It could, but even... Because what it was is you would tap your Magic Band and you had some cards and a villain would appear and you were a sorcerer. And so you're having to combat it. And so you would have good characters and you would show your card and it would fight that villain. It could be like a Universal where you do the wand and you kind of, I don't know, like do a Doctor Strange or something.
Again, I don't know the limitations. With that one,
I don't know.
It's a IR light that reads your motion. Technology. So I don't know what's all packed into the new puck.
This tiny little puck.
So I think it's just a Bluetooth, read and receive and transmit.
Like I can figure it out from looking at it.
So I don't think there's going to be a way for you to, unless they again figure out a way where whatever camera is on those games is reading your combination.
Something off of it. Yeah, I don't know.
But again, you can't really fine tune it from here.
Right. I am very curious though, what new things they can bring to each of the 4 parks.
While we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I know there's one, it was on TikTok that I saw. This person was able to make a backpack from Spaceship Earth.
Oh, yeah.
That synced up to the lights on Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
Earth. I want to know how he did that, because how was he able to sync it up? And is it just something where he synced up, like we play at the same time and it plays, or is it actually kind of the same thing where it receives a signal? So he's like intercepting Disney's signal and playing the thing. So
that's interesting.
So again, that's where it's like, okay, now we're getting into getting these numbers and being able to use them ourselves, type of thing.
Yeah.
But that was just something that popped in my head, because right now we were talking about the lights.
So, okay, just to recap, will MagicBand Plus add to your next Disney trip? What do you think?
I think it's inevitable that we're going to go to MagicBand Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, there are some niche things to do. Mm-hmm. It'll keep you busy for a trip, maybe 2. But with the stuff that they have now, I'm hoping that they have more in the works, in the pipeline, because again, it could just get stale.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it was a really cool thing to do, but longevity wise, there's not a lot. And also, like, I'm really frustrated by the fact that we have to charge yet another thing every single night. And as a family of 4, like, it's a lot. And then you have to bring the charger with you just in case. Like, we don't know how long the battery lasts. We were just fearful it wasn't going to last all day. So we would charge it every night. We would bring a cable with us. But the fact that MagicBand Plus was probably announced probably a year ago for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, which started in October of 2021, and it didn't come out until the very end of July 2022. So almost 10 months later, 9 months later. Math is not my forte. The fact that it took so long for it to come out, and the things that you can do with it are so limited, and that you can knock it out so quickly, is kind of like, well, I'm hoping that there are already things in the works to continue the interactivity with MagicBand Plus, so that next time we do go to the parks, we have something new to try out.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I agree.
So Plus, probably. All right, so I think that about wraps this one up. So if you have enjoyed this conversation, and maybe if you have some suggestions on what you think MagicBand Plus could look like for the future in the parks, drop us a comment if you are watching this on YouTube. And if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast app, please make sure you subscribe.
And Princess and Scoundrel is part of the Thank the Maker network, so make sure you go check out the guys at Thank the Maker and Mike Forrester at Armor Party. Also, make sure you go get your Mosh Isley tickets, because that's coming up.
It's coming up. The next Mosh Isley is going to be October 28th in Las Vegas. It is right in the middle of the When We Were Young Fest, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's Halloween weekend. It's costumes. Whew.
Another costume.
Oh boy, another costume. We thought we were done. All right, until next time.